Hello and welcome back to the Loft. I'm Woody, and today I'm going to introduce you to Clint. Clint is my Commodore 64. As you can tell, it's somewhat of a unique looking 64. And he does work. I've done a little bit of modding. I've got a dual SID chip. Now, Clint gets his name from Lazy Game Reviews, the gentleman who runs that channel. By the way, I will link the channel. Makes fantastic videos. Huge fan of his. His name is Clint, and if you watch him long enough, you will get to know that he loves all things 1970s and 1980s faux wood grain. Now, I will put a picture of how Clint looked when I first got him from Bo Zimmerman, and I will link his webpage as well, at the Central Texas Commodore user group. Bo was kind enough to give me Clint. Clint worked when I got him, but he was in rough shape. Here's where I'll put the picture. So when I cleaned him up, I noticed that these wood grain veneer stickers that I thought were maroon were wood grain. And I was surprised, shocked, in awe of this, actually. Shock and awe. I was like, oh my goodness. I got genuinely excited. Right then and there, I knew Clint's name was Clint. I knew my 64 had a name and it was Clint. One thing that I've been wanting to do with Clint is do a music project with him. I love the SID chip. Absolutely love the SID chip. The first version is my absolute favorite. It has a raw, organic energy about it that you just don't hear in other sound chips of the era. Like, it sounds like it has something to prove. There's a snarliness about it. It's fantastic. Love it. So I've been wanting to do a music project with it. And what is that music project, you ask? Well, I'm a huge fan of Gregorian chant. I know, you're shocked. I'm also a fan of old hymns. Again, shocker. Go figure. But I've noticed there is not a huge library of Gregorian chant SID chips, or SID chip tunes, or really a lot of the old hymns. And I'm not talking like hymns written by Fannie J. Crosby or hymns that have been written in the last 200 years. I'm talking about much older as well. There is not a huge amount of those out there. And quite honestly, I get that. There's probably not a huge market for them. Not a huge demand, certainly. But it's something that I love. And Clint is also something that I love. So let's combine the two. So that is what I'm wanting to do. I am wanting to build a library of SID chip Gregorian chant and SID chip hymns. Now, to do that, or to help do that, yes, I have my keyboard behind me and I can figure out a way to mimic the sound of the SID with that. Or I can use one of these babies. It is the Incredible Music Keyboard. My friends over at Computer Reset found this for me after I won a contest. Ta-da! Now, you may be thinking, okay, that fits over the 64, over the keyboard, and it does. The problem with mine is it's designed for the bread bin. Doesn't quite fit mine. Now you may be thinking, but Woody, your Commodore 64 looks like a 64C. And you would almost be right. It does look like a 64C. It is not, however, a C64C. In 1985, when Commodore decided to release the 128 and revamp their case style for the 64 to match the 128, there was a company in southern Australia that decided to release a third-party unlicensed case that mimicked the lines and the look of the C64C case, but you could take your bread bin guts, the guts of your bread bin, the motherboard and the keyboard, drop it into that case, and go about your day, not have to buy a whole new Commodore 64. And in fact, one thing that a lot of people who put their bread bin 64 keyboards into a C64C case, they often have to have brackets to make it fit right. Not so with what's called the Aussie case, because it was a company in southern Australia. You don't have to have brackets for that. It just fits right in, which means there's a little bit of a different angle. Now, even if I had a keyboard overlay like this, designed for the C64C, which they did make, it still wouldn't quite fit right. It might fit a little better, but it still wouldn't really fit, because this case makes the Commodore 64 a little wider. I think by just a millimeter or two. And the plastic is also thicker, so it just doesn't fit right around where it should. It could almost fit, and quite honestly, I can rest it on there gently, and it technically would work just fine. As long as it's making contact with the individual key on the keyboard, then it can work. Now the problem is, as you can see, it just doesn't fit. So how am I going to use this? Do I just make do with it? Do I say to heck with this and just use the normal keyboard? Well, I don't like either one of those options. I would have to make this fit, though. I would have to pretty much destroy it. I don't want to do that. This was too much of a unicorn for me to even damage it at all. I'm not giving it away either. It's mine. I'm keeping this puppy safely in its box. So what is it left for me to do? Well, I'm going to have to learn some new skills and make one. Yeah, I'm pretty much going to have to make a custom-made piano overlay for Clint, specifically for Clint, just to be able to do the project. Now, as I go through this process, you will come along with me. Even if you don't want to hear the final product of doing Sid Chip, Gregorian chant, and hymns, I think it might be fun to come along and see all the processes that I have to go through and all the skills that I ultimately have to learn just to be able to do that. So that will be something that we feature often on the channel. So look out for Clint. We will also do more stuff with him and with my Amiga 1200, Isadora. You just heard me touch her keyboard. And that's not a euphemism, I was actually touching her keyboard. But yeah, we will feature more with Clint and Isadora, because I do want to feature retro computers, because that is a love of mine. So with that all being said, next week I'll probably rank the other Star Trek films, the next gen Star Trek films, Generations through Nemesis. And then I might do each series. That is, unless, of course, y'all don't want to see that. Also, patrons, I have not forgotten you. I am still thinking of the best categories to do. I do know that the tiers will be base $5, and then the next one up will be $10. But from there, I'm not sure. And I'm not 100% sure what the rewards are going to be for each tier. Certainly a basic reward will be early access to videos as I build up a library and can have videos that I can release early. Or like last time, a special presentation. If you're a patron, go check it out. It's funny. But I'm biased, so. But ultimately I haven't forgotten you. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button, and don't forget to ring the notification bell. I do love y'all being subscribed. We're at 60 at the time of recording this. We're at 60 subscribers. Fantastic. So that's it for this week. Once again, all All the links that I mentioned earlier will be in the description. I hope you all have had a great week and will have a fantastic next week, and I will see you next time.